Hello, pre-algebra students. This is Mr. Knight. This is 2.6, solving equations using multiplication or division. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to be looking at some vocabulary words real quick. So division property of equality. This is basically where you're dividing both sides of an equation or inequality by the same value. Therefore, your equation or inequality would remain consistent. It would still remain equivalent, both sides of the expression, if you will. So if I look at it in words, it's dividing, like I said, dividing each side of an equation by the same non-zero number produces an equivalent equation. It means you don't change the value of what you don't change the true value of the equation. So if I look in it in a number sense, you have 3x is equal to 12. You're going to divide both sides by 3. The 3's on the left will equal 1. 1 times that x will give me just an x. And then if I look at 12 divided by 3, that gives me 4. Okay, so I divided both sides of an equation by the same value, by the same non-zero value, which is 3. Okay, and the sole purpose is just to figure out what the value of that x has to be to make that statement true. So if I look at it in terms of an algebra sense, our equation is ax is equal to b, where a and b are non-zeros. And then so we divide both sides by a in this case. Okay, a's on the left will cancel. You're left with just an x, and then b divided by a is just b divided by a, because they represent some value or some sort. Okay, so there's our vocabulary word, just division property of equality. So let's move on and see what we have here. So solving an equation using division. So we're going to solve this right here. Negative 7x is equal to 42. So the first thing you want to do is divide, there's our equation, and then the next step that we want to do is divide both sides by a negative 7. The negative 7s will equal 1. 1 times x is still x. And then if I look at 42 divided by 6, or I'm sorry, 42 divided by 7 would be negative 6. 42 divided by 7 is 6, and then a positive divided by a negative is a negative. So we're dividing each side by a negative 7, yes. And then the answer in this case down here would be negative 6. Okay, so my answer is negative 6. All right, so now let's do the check. All right, you always want to do a check whenever you work with equations or inequalities. So if I think my answer is negative 6, I'm going to plug it in for the value of x. So I have negative 7 times, in parentheses, negative 6. And a question mark there is we're uncertain as to what the actual, what it actually equals. That's why you see that question mark. So anyway, so I have 7 times 6 would be 42. Equals, sorry. Getting ahead of myself here. My apologies. Okay, so I have negative 7 times a negative 6 would be a positive 42, and a 42 is equal to 42. Therefore, I know that my solution checks. And I just use a check mark instead of writing the word. Solutions check. Solution checks, not an S. Check. There you go. Okay. So let me scroll down here so you can see. Oops. So now we have 2 checks. What I need for you to do is to pause the video. I want you to do number 1. I want you to do number 2. Once you get the answer to both of those, and go ahead and start the video back up. And then we'll just check our answers. Okay. Okay. If we look back at our number 1. I have 5x is equal to 45. I will divide both sides by 5. The 5's on the left will equal 1. 1 times x is still x on the left is equal to 45 divided by 5 would be 9. Now let's do our check. 5 times the value of 9 is equal to 45, and 45 is equal to 45. Okay? So that works, my check works, my solution works, so then I know my solution's correct. So then if I look at number 2, I've got negative 56 is equal to negative 8y. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 8. All right, the negative 8s will equal 1 on the right-hand side. You are left with just y. And then negative 56 divided by negative 8 would give me a positive 7. And then if I do our check real quick, negative 56 is equal to negative 8 times a positive 7. Negative 56 is equal to negative 56. My solution is correct, or both sides equal each other. So therefore I know that my solution y is equal to 7 is correct. All right. So let's move on. Next page. Okay, multiplication property of equality. So our first vocabulary word was division, where we divide both sides by the same value in order to keep the statement true, our equation true. So multiplication, exact same thing, if you will, more or less. You're just multiplying both sides by the same value, by the same non-zero value, and then to keep the statement true. So let's look at our in words right here. So you're multiplying each side of an equation by the same non-zero number produces an equivalent equation. Okay. In terms of numbers, here's our equation. X divided by 3 is equal to 12. Then what we're going to do is multiply both sides by 3. The 3's on the left-hand side will equal 1. Because if you remember, how do you make a integer a fraction? Just put it over 1. How do you multiply fractions? Multiply straight across, right? Or we can actually reduce, cross-reduce, if you will, before you actually multiply. That's a way of simplifying. Okay, so let me get my color back here. So, so now on the left-hand side, I have just x. On the right-hand side, I have 3 times that 12. 3 times that 12 is 36. So we find out that x is 36. If you look at it in terms of algebraically, excuse me, we have x divided by a is equal to b, and a does not equal to 0. Then you are going to multiply both sides by a. The a's on the left will cancel each other. They'll equal to 1. 1 times x is just x. And then on the right-hand side, you have a times b, or in simpler terms, it would just be ab. Okay? So let's go work a problem, and then you have a couple to work on, I believe. So here's our problem. 5 is equal to W11. All right. So we start with our actual equation. I see that 11 is the denominator that I need to get rid of because I'm trying to isolate that variable, that W. Isolate, remember, if you remember from previous years in school, is to isolate means I need the variable on one side of the equation or inequality, everything else, the constants, if you will, on the other side. So here, if I'm trying to isolate that variable, I need to get rid of that 11. That means it needs to move over here to the right-hand side. I'm sorry, left-hand side. So how do I do that? What's the process? Well, the multiplication or division property that we're using right now is how you move these values around. So anyway, I'm going to multiply both sides by 11. The 11's on the right-hand side will equal to 1. 1 times w gives me just w. And then you have 11 times 5, which is 55. All right. So I believe that my answer is 55. And we multiply it each side by, 11. Each side by 11. All right. So now what I need to do is do a check real quick. So if they don't really give me much room here. So I'm going to do my check right over here. Okay. So I start with my original equation, w over 11, and I know that w was equal to 55, right? So I have 5 is equal to 55 divided by 11. 55 divided by 11 is 5, and 5 is equal to 5. My solution works out, or my check works out, therefore I know my solution is correct, all right? So what I want you to do is pause the video. We have 2 checks. We have number 3, we have number 4. I want you to work through both of those. And then once you get an answer to that, to those 2, start the video back up and we'll check our answers, okay? Okay, so we have m divided by 4 is equal to 11. I'm going to change my color here. So what I'm going to do is I need to rewrite this. M divided by 4 is equal to 11. I am going to multiply both sides by 4, just like we did in our example up above there. The 4's on the left will equal to 1. 1 times m will give me m. And then on the right-hand side, 11 times 4 is 44. Okay, so let's do our check real quick. I have m over 4 is equal to 11. I have 44 over 4 is equal to 11, and 11 is equal to 11. That check works, therefore I know that my solution for m is correct. Then if I look at number 4, we have negative 9 is equal to c over 6. I'm going to multiply both sides by 6. Right-hand side, 6 will the 6's cancel. They equal 1. 1 times c is just c. And then 9 times 6 would be 54. And where to go? 54. And then a negative times a positive would still be a negative, so it's negative 54. And let's do our check real quick. I have negative 9 is equal to c over 6. I have negative 9 is equal to c was negative 54 divided by 6. Negative 9 is equal to negative 9. My check works, therefore I know the solution. C is equal to negative 54 is correct, all right? So I think that that is it. But let's see. Yes, that is the end of this video. Ooh, went too far. Sorry about that. So that's the end of that's the end of 2.6. So have an awesome day, and we'll see you on next video.